Welcome back, YouTube. So it's Saturday morning. It's 7 o'clock. I'm getting ready to go to work. So this discussion and information is a little bit to help people out with po2096 post catalyst 2 lean. If you don't have an obvious audible exhaust leak, this becomes very difficult. What you really need to do is have a scan tool and access freeze frame data of when the occurrence happened in a snapshot. So your computer will leave behind freeze frame data saying, bink, this is the conditions that this happened at. What engine temperature, what RPM, coolant temperature, throttle position, load, all that stuff. So this will tell you if the engine was at idle, if the engine was at cruise speed, if the and what temperature was. So kind of, gives you an idea to where to go to speed up your diagnostic process, especially when you're experienced. You can say, hey, all right, I know where I'm going. So a buddy of mine who who manages a very reputable shop said, hey, can I pick your brain? I got a problem. I saw your YouTube video. And I do a lot of diagnostics and information for other shops, Philadelphia and New Jersey. And basically, people on YouTube constantly message me and say, hey, what do you think or what's going on? And I try and steer them in the best direction by what they're communicating to me via the internet or on the phone and that way. So I said, what does your downstream O2 voltages look like? He said, looks good. But what I didn't say to him is, tell me what your freeze frame data was. And then, we can try and figure this out together. I said, but you primarily want to look at the downstream O2 sensor voltages and see, and they call it railed out. So you'll see the O2 voltage. If you ever taken an O2 sensor out of the exhaust system while the car was running, if you take it out and expose the oxygen sensor to ambient air, you'll see the O2 sensor just zero right out. They call it rail out. So it'll go to zero. It won't do anything. And then as you put it back in and start screwing it back in, the heat and the exhaust temperatures and the oxygen in air will start to make the oxygen sensor work. So you basically right there, you induced a post-catalyst 2 lean condition in its extremities. But if you take it out and unscrew it slowly, you can watch what the change in temperatures in air due to the oxygen sensor, just to familiarize yourself with the strategy that the computer is looking at. So if the engine's hot and you don't have an issue, that tells me probably happens when it's cold. There's a crack somewhere that you can't see, or vice versa. When it's cold, it's good, and then when it gets hot, it expands. So it could be either way. But that's why freeze frame data is a very good. It's a must-have. It's a must-have for chasing this down. And it could be such a pinhole that you can't hear, and you may even miss it with a vacuum line. Is what I use. I stick a vacuum line around the whole exhaust system on the suspected bank. And you need to go 10 inches past the rear O2 sensor. And because I've seen leaks forward or rearward cause the same problem on certain models. And you were like, God damn, it really noticed that. Yes, it noticed an exhaust leak 6 to 10 inches away from the O2 sensor port. Pinhole in the O2 sensor, anything. So you really got to look at it. And you can also smoke it. Most people don't have smoke machines. And it's really difficult to smoke it. You would really have to cap the exhaust system, off to where there's no leaks. And some of them have dual exhaust and all this, or drill a hole in it. It's very complex. Or cut the pipe and have the right adapters and have a super high flowing smoke machine. You can do that too. Soapy water trick sometimes works. It doesn't always work. The exhaust is so hot sometimes it just boils that shit right off. What I didn't think was putting UV dye, misting the exhaust system with UV dye. That's a thought, but I'm just thinking here, but that's a lot of work. You will find it by looking at your downstream O2 sensor voltages. And no problem. If you suspect there's a pinhole somewhere in a weld or something, take some muffler cement and smear it over that. And then you'll watch that O2 sensor go from, just say it's down at 10 and the opposite side is at 50 or 70 and it's moving slow. It's moving slow on the passenger rear. And the driver's side rear is like 10, 6, 15. It's so low back there. It's not usually from an O2 sensor. It's definitely from something coming into the exhaust system or coming into the exhaust system that shouldn't be, or there's catalyst missing in there too. That's not necessarily pitching an efficiency code, because I've seen some stupid shit in my days. But yeah, that's it. But to familiarize yourself with the condition. I've never really seen it happen on both banks. I've always seen it happen, on, just bank one or, just bank two, depending on what it is. But I haven't seen one on both banks yet. I'm sure I will. But yeah, just familiarize yourself with the downstream O2 sensor data readings live, obviously with the car running, and then do it when it's cold, do it when it's hot, and find your freeze frame data and help narrow it down. Thanks for watching.